On our planet, there are places we can physically reach, but have absolutely no right to enter. We aren't talking about classified military bases or top-secret nuclear bunkers. These are ancient tombs, sealed hundreds or thousands of years ago, which remain strictly untouched to this day. Some are protected by strict international laws. Others are guarded by heavy religious taboos. And a few, well, they simply kill anyone who dares to breach them. Behind each sealed door lies a secret that people risked their lives for, and governments spent millions to protect. Today, we are exploring 6 historical sites where the locks aren't hanging on the outside, they are barred from within. Our journey begins in the Shaanxi province of China, near the city of Xi'an. There stands a quiet, grass-covered hill that looks completely ordinary. But beneath this mound lies the largest tomb ever constructed on Earth. It belongs to Qin Shi Huang, the first emperor of a unified China, and it has remained unopened for over 2,200 years. The modern world caught its first glimpse of this empire in 1974. Local farmers digging a well struck a clay head, which they initially mistook for a Buddha statue. When archaeologists arrived, they uncovered a breathtaking wonder, the terracotta army. Over 8,000 life-sized clay soldiers, each with entirely unique facial features, stood in silent battle formation. Yet, while the army became world-famous, no one has ever breached the emperor's actual burial chamber. The Chinese government strictly bans any excavation. The reasons sound like a Hollywood horror script. Writing a century after the emperor's death, the ancient historian Sima Qian described the tomb as a subterranean palace surrounded by flowing rivers of liquid mercury, designed to mimic the Yangtze and Yellow rivers. He also warned of mechanical crossbows rigged to shoot anyone crossing the threshold. For centuries, this was dismissed as a myth. However, in 2020, scientists conducted soil tests around the mound. The results were terrifying. Mercury levels were 20 to 50 times higher than normal. The ancient texts were accurate. Even if the mechanical traps have rusted away, opening the chamber poses a massive archaeological risk. When the terracotta warriors were first exposed to air, their vibrant red and blue paint disintegrated within hours. A single breath of fresh air entering the main vacuum chamber could instantly destroy invaluable silks, scrolls, and lacquered artifacts. As a former museum director once noted, leaving the emperor to rest in eternal peace is the only rational choice. The ruler who famously drank mercury in a mad quest for immortality ultimately got exactly what he wanted. A rest that remains entirely undisturbed. The next grave on our list is entirely unique. It isn't legally protected, nor is it booby-trapped. It is simply impossible to find. Genghis Khan, the man who forged the largest contiguous land empire in human history, died in 1227. From that exact moment, his resting place vanished into the Mongolian wilderness. According to legend, his funeral procession carried out a brutal cover-up. The 2,000 slaves who built the burial site were slaughtered by soldiers, and those soldiers were immediately executed by another unit to erase all memory of the location. Thousands of horsemen then rode across the grave until the ground became indistinguishable from the surrounding plains. Some accounts claim a river was diverted over the site to submerge it forever. When Marco Polo visited Mongolia decades later, he noted that even the locals had no idea where the Khan rested. The only clue lies in the secret history of the Mongols, an ancient text stating he was buried near Mount Burkhan Khaldun. Today, this mountain lies deep within a strictly protected area the size of Connecticut, the Khan Kentai Forbidden Zone. Only shamans and select government officials are permitted entry. In the 1990s, a joint Japanese-Mongolian team used ultrasound to identify over 1,300 noble burials, but excavation was strictly forbidden. Later, in 2001, an American expedition located a walled compound near the Onan River containing 20 untouched graves of high-ranking warriors. When news broke that scientists intended to dig, massive public protests erupted. Locals were convinced that disturbing the Khan's spirit would unleash a devastating curse upon the nation, and the expedition was promptly shut down. In 2008, engineer Albert Lin offered a compromise. A non-invasive digital search using satellites, drones, and ground-penetrating radar. While volunteers flagged anomalies, finding ancient tiles and horse teeth dating back to the Khan's era, the actual grave remained hidden. As archaeologists later concluded, if modern Mongolians wish for Genghis Khan to remain undisturbed, his rest will be respected. It is a matter of heritage, not science. Moving from the windswept steppes to tropical India, we find one of the wealthiest temples in the world guarding a vault wrapped in absolute dread. The Padmanabhaswamy temple in Kerala is dedicated to Lord Vishnu. Hidden beneath its stone floors are 8 subterranean vaults, labeled A through H. In 2011, India's Supreme Court ordered the opening of 5 hidden chambers. The discovery shocked the world. Inside lay solid gold thrones, crowns, diamonds, and emeralds the size of a human fist, valued at an astronomical $22 billion. Yet, Vault B remained locked. This vault has not been opened since at least the 1880s, and its entrance is barred by 3 successive doors, wood, iron, and a final stone door engraved with 2 massive cobras. Curiously, this final door features no locks, keys, hinges, or visible mechanisms. In 2012, a court-appointed committee attempted to force entry. They breached the wooden and iron doors, but the snake-embossed stone barrier refused to budge. Local priests issued a stern warning: the door is sealed by an ancient Ashtanaga Bandham mantra. According to belief, it can only be safely opened by a highly spiritual holy man chanting the correct incantation. Any attempt to force it open mechanically will trigger a catastrophic curse. Tensions escalated dramatically when the lead lawyer who initiated the investigation suddenly fell ill and died just days after the attempt. Whether a bizarre coincidence or something more, no court has dared to order the opening of Vault B since. If the open vaults hold $22 billion, what lies behind the snake door? Some experts estimate the value could exceed $1 trillion, making it a secret too dangerous to unlock. The tomb of Tamerlane in Samarkand, Uzbekistan, stands apart because it actually was opened. What followed remains one of the most chilling historical coincidences on record. Tamerlane was a notoriously ruthless 14th-century conqueror who built an empire spanning from India to the Mediterranean. He passed away in 1405 and was laid to rest under a massive jade slab in the Gurimir Mausoleum. The headstone bore a grim inscription: "Whosoever disturbs my peace shall unleash a conqueror more terrible than I." For over 5 centuries, no one dared to test the warning. But in June 1941, a Soviet scientific expedition led by anthropologist Mikhail Gerasimov arrived to study the remains. Local elders begged the team to stop, presenting an ancient Arabic text that warned, "He who opens the tomb of Tamerlane will release the demon of war." The scientists dismissed it as superstition. The heavy stone slab was pried open on June 20, filling the room with a strong odor of camphor. Gerasimov successfully retrieved Tamerlane's skull, confirming his historical physical traits. But early the very next morning, on June 22, Nazi Germany launched a massive, unprovoked invasion of the Soviet Union. The bloodiest conflict in human history began less than 48 hours after the tomb was breached. The story takes an even stranger turn. In late November 1942, Soviet authorities ordered Tamerlane's remains to be returned to his sarcophagus with full honors. Almost immediately after the tomb was resealed, the Soviet army launched a decisive counteroffensive at Stalingrad, permanently turning the tide of World War II. While historians rightly view this as a purely strategic coincidence, it remains the only tomb excavation in history to perfectly align with a global catastrophe. If the mystery of Cleopatra's life is ever solved, the final chapter won't be written in Alexandria, but 30 kilometers west, within the ruins of Taposiris Magna. Cleopatra VII, the final pharaoh of Egypt, took her own life in 30 BC. Ancient accounts state she was buried alongside her lover, Mark Antony, but their tomb eluded discovery for 2 millennia. Much of ancient Alexandria sank beneath the waves after a catastrophic earthquake in 365 AD, throwing search efforts off course. Enter Kathleen Martinez, a criminal lawyer from the Dominican Republic turned archaeologist. Digging at Taposiris Magna since 2004, her team has unearthed stunning artifacts, coins bearing Cleopatra's profile, high-status mummies, and burial remains with tongues of solid gold, a ritual meant to allow the deceased to speak directly with gods in the afterlife. In 2022, Martinez discovered a massive 1,305-meter tunnel carved through sandstone, 13 meters beneath the temple. The Egyptian Ministry of Antiquities hailed it as a geometric miracle. In 2025, collaborating with legendary oceanographer Robert Ballard, the man who discovered the Titanic, the team located a sunken Ptolemaic port directly linked to the tunnel, resting under 12 meters of seawater. Martinez believes Cleopatra's body was moved through this subterranean passage to a hidden maritime vault, keeping her safe from Roman defilement. The queen's tomb is sealed not by law, but by nature itself. Earthquakes, tsunamis, and centuries of sediment have hidden her away, making it the only grave we have hunted for 20 centuries while knowing exactly where to look. Our final site features a restriction that is purely sacred. In the Ethiopian city of Aksum sits a modest, unassuming structure known as the Chapel of the Tablet. It belongs to the Ethiopian Orthodox Tewahedo Church. According to ancient tradition, this chapel houses the ultimate biblical artifact, the Ark of the Covenant. The sacred text Kabra Nagas states that Menelik I, the son of King Solomon and the Queen of Sheba, brought the Ark from Jerusalem 3,000 years ago. The Ark's security relies entirely on a single, lifelong guardian monk. This man can never leave the chapel grounds until his death, and he is the only human allowed to look upon the artifact. Even the patriarch of the Ethiopian Church is strictly barred from viewing it. While Western scholars remain deeply skeptical, with some past accounts claiming the chapel holds only a medieval wooden chest, the restriction remains absolute. For 40 million Ethiopian Christians, the Ark's presence is an undeniable reality and the core of their spiritual identity. Whether the true Ark rests within the chapel may never be proven, and perhaps that is for the best. 6 historic sites, 6 absolute restrictions. From the toxic mercury rivers of China and hidden graves in Mongolia, to the sealed vaults of India, a cursed tomb in Samarkand, sunken passages in Egypt and a lone guardian in Ethiopia. We often expect modern science to break down every door, but these 6 tombs suggest otherwise. Sometimes, the wisest choice a civilization can make is to accept that certain doors are closed not to keep us out, but to keep what is inside safely away. If you made it this far, you clearly appreciate the deeper, darker side of history. Hit that like button so others can discover this video, and make sure to subscribe for more authentic historical deep dives. Tell us in the comments. If you were handed a single key, which of these 6 tombs would you dare to open? See you in the next episode.